time zone. Yes, we are back again. This is a new week. Of course, the first working days in this week, Monday. Welcoming you to this exciting moment here in Kowef TV. It's been an exciting weekend so far. I trust you all are doing great. Yes, we are here once again to discuss issues of importance as it borders on our existence as a people, and of course how this affects us individually and collectively. On today's topical issues, we shall be discussing about the 3.2 million or trillion that was to be lavished on palliatives, most of which were bonus funds, and would that be the only way out of this quagmire? What are the implications of this? Continual borrowing could no longer, of course, guarantee the economic revival or security, economic financial security to the borrower, especially when such funds have been borrowed to be expended on what we call stomach infrastructure, without, of course, any the cost of investing such money. And how do the government intend to pay this enormous debt, given that the debt profile of the Nigerian state have escalated? And you know what IMF is telling Nigeria, that their credit opportunity seems to have been, of course, used up. We have MC Grammar here. Good morning, MC Grammar.
All right, good morning, good morning, good morning.
FG to lavish 3.2 trillion on palliatives, and unfortunately, most of these loans were just borrowed funds. So, would that be what Nigerians are expecting from this dispensation?
I keep saying it, and we don't have the government. I don't know why. I keep saying it. Bola Ahmed Tinubu doesn't know what he's doing. It's just that one cannot use abusive language on his president. I would have loved to use one. He doesn't even know what he's doing. I'm telling you the truth, because this is not what we Nigerians bargain for. This is not what we asked for. This is not the Nigeria we all are looking for. This is not the Nigeria we all are dreaming for. But you know, like they say in Nigeria, all these stupid leaders, when they get there, they forget what they are supposed to do. So, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to me, I don't know. I just see at the end of the day, just as Supreme Court, if their head is correct, they are supposed to pursue him away from there. You cannot use a forged certificate and continue to rule us in Nigeria. I mean, who does that? It's just like somebody working in a company with a forged certificate. Will you still be there? What is wrong with Nigerians? Why can't we even think in this country? You forge a certificate and you are in a company. I don't want to know the kind of lawyer you have. That company will not retain you. So how much more the president of the country with the forged results? At the end of the day, they came out to say that the result is a woman's result. It is an insult on Nigeria. Sometimes I tell something that some of the things that we hear in Nigeria are disheartening things. They are things we are not supposed to hear. They are not things that are polite at all. I mean, we just keep hearing in this country. You look at it, we have a president with a forged result, and nobody's talking. The likes of all the Femi Falana, the lawyer, is not talking. The stupid fool is not talking. But if it were to be P2B, he will talk loud. See, this is my problem. Assuming P2B is the one with forged certificates, all of them will talk, but nobody's talking. Everybody's keeping silent. When they show the rest of them, nobody's talking. They are just doing one shit. And that is what is killing this country. Except for one day I came across a man who openly said his mind, and what's it called? This, the owner of Ovation. Or what's that his name? The guy that owns Ovation. That's the man that come out to say his mind. He said it politely. He fears nobody. So I wonder why people are not talking. Things are going wrong in our country. And yet, when you see Biafrans come out and say they are agitating for Biafrans, should be complaining. Why are you complaining? Is Nigeria working? When the system that is not working, when the government that is not working, When a foolish government where everybody is being carried away with this mentality of Christianity and Muslim killing us in this country, God will do it. God will. How many years is China, India? They don't worship God, but they are better than us. Is it not a shame for us? Are you not supposed to ask yourself, what is wrong upon our Christianity and Muslim, upon how religious we are? Yes, all these pastors praying on mountain and this thing. What is the essence of the mountain? I'm challenging you, pastors. I'm challenging you, imams. You guys are there just there, wasting Nigerian resources, collecting money from us.
God cannot do for you what He has empowered you to do.
How do you do for China?
So it's the Chinese that are fixing the economy for their own good. So I think Nigerians should leave our country deceiving themselves and take up, of course, the responsibility of redeeming humanity. Now, away from the certificate saga, our interest lies on the palliative that have been, of course, an issue of controversy. How can any responsible government be borrowing? Borrowing is not bad, but what do you borrow for? What do you use with the borrowed funds? And knowing fully well that is not a giveaway, it's not a Christmas gift, that you also pay for it, regardless whether it is an extended period or not, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. A borrowed money is a borrowed money, which means you are liable to pay anytime. The borrowing money, I mean, just to pay, to share for food and biscuits,
because they are not sensible, because they are not matured enough, because they are not smart, because they are not intelligent, because they don't have what it takes to govern a country, because they don't have that intelligent brain, because they don't even know why they are there in the first place, because they don't understand what is government, because they don't even know the definition of government, because they don't even know why they are there. That's the reason why they are borrowing.
If they don't know why they are there, doesn't common sense inform you that basic economy, common sense, even a child, they know that once you are borrowing, of course, you also pay. And if you don't have any plan on how to pay back, then that is the worst scenario.
Let me just tell you something. You see, because our government don't know what they want and why they are there. Everybody used to believe that. You know, the story in Nigeria is the moment you get into politics, you go and do Thanksgiving in a church. Because money has started coming,
Even when you rig yourself.
but I blame those stupid churches. I blame those stupid churches that refuse to tell them the truth. I was listening to one guy on social media yesterday. Man, this is a preacher, but he said what I know. He said any man of God telling you to pay tithes is a criminal. This coming from a man of God. He's a criminal.
That is his personal opinion.
No, see, let me tell you, he's a
Which is
preacher.
not binding on
He's
anyone.
a preacher and he backed it up with the Bible quotation. I'm not a preacher, I cannot quote the Bible in case to assess it. But he backed it up with Bible quotation because and with what he preached, this guy is down to right. Listen to what he said. He said, a pastor will tell you what you want to receive from God. They will tell you, bring him money. Right? When God wants to give you, bring him money. That's what you want to receive. So, any other thing you want to do from God, it does not require money. But when you want to receive, they say bring money. When you want to receive them, because you are receiving from God, you are bringing money. But when any other thing, you are not bringing money. He said it is a fraudulent attitude. And I believe him. It is a fraudulent attitude. I am one of those people that used to say religion is a scam. Because they're making it sound like a scam. See, sorry that I'm deviating from this topic to religion. Because I believe that the thing that constituted to this problem that we're facing in Nigeria is religion. If there's no religion, I don't think we'll be having this. See, religion and politics works together. That's the truth. And just imagine If all the pastors are preaching what they're supposed to preach in church, just imagine how the country will be. If all the imams are preaching what they're supposed to preach in the mosque, just imagine how this country will be. My problem with this country is, if you're a man who likes to speak the truth all the time, people love to crucify you. I don't bloody care about your crucifixion. I don't give a damn. It doesn't take an inch away from me. To hell with your, to hell with your, you criticizing me, I don't care. But the truth is, I will tell you the truth. If you want to tell the truth, if you don't want, that's your bloody.
Well, away from that, I think you are becoming too personal. But the issue is that it's not about some viewers. We are here to.
No, I'm not talking to you. The thing is,
now what our focus is that we know that religion has failed Nigerian state, and unfortunately, most of them who occupy the seat of power, either they are Muslim or Christians, and they are not living up to the tenets of their faith. They are just mere, of course, bench watchers, and unfortunately, I do not imbibe those tenets of faith that would have given us a better platform to progress. But what I'm saying, what can the government do at this time? Why about the borrowing? Tinubu told us he's a Mr. Capacity. Is it capacity in terms of borrowing? Is that how we can evaluate his capacity?
You know why I don't want.
Where are the think tanks?
You know why I don't want.
Governments? Why can't they think a way of revamping the economy and creating jobs for the teeming population rather than just going to borrow? I mean, to eat, doing kura de nono, cocoa, amala, ewedu. You know what? You see, at the end of the day, the person will get hungry. The next,
boss, you know why I don't want. You know why I don't want to advise the government on what to do. This is not the first time. For the past 5 years, I've been advising governments. So our government are naturally stubborn. So I don't think in this particular aspect, I will want to give advice to the government. That's their fucking problem. Whatever they like, let them do. Nigeria is for all of us. If they spoil this country, they are spoiling our image. If they get it right, they are getting this country right. So I'm not going to be in the position to advise. I've been advising for the past 5 years. What advice do I want to give now that you think this your so-called president want to listen to? It will just be a waste of time in advising.
Oh, a waste of time. Thank you so much for your wonderful submission, NC Gama. NC Gama is fed up advising. What have they been able to do with the previous advice that was given to them? On this note, I want to welcome you once again, NC France, to this interactive section this morning in this political rumbles. And at the same time, I want to, of course, welcome Mr. Charles. Mr. Charles, you are welcome to this program this morning. Before Mr. Charles takes the podium, I want to use this opportunity to celebrate a woman of virtue, a woman of honor, a woman who has humanity in her. It's no other person than Mrs. Joy Ehi. On the occasion of her 18th wedding anniversary that took place yesterday. Congratulations, Mrs. Joy Ehi. Congratulations to you and your beloved husband. And we wish you all the best of God's blessings and fulfillment as the Lord continue to keep you in good health and of course in prosperity. I wish you all the best, Mommy Joy. Mommy Joy, of course, has been a blessing to many, of which one of them is Mr. Savior Michael Lucky. Indeed, he was too lucky to have Mrs. Joy in her life. Lucky was the young guy of 23 years that Conway TV discovered at the bus stop, where he was very frustrated and depressed because of the Nigerian situation. And upon discovering him, of course, we made a passionate appeal to Austin fans if they could come to his rescue. But ever since only Mrs. Joy Ehi have been able to show up for this young guy, and God having, of course, showing Savior Michael mercy. Michael is now employed, gainfully employed. He has started work, and we give all the glory to God. That wouldn't have been possible without the collaboration of Corewave TV and Mrs. Joy, who stood by us to make sure that a meaning is given to this life. And Lucky Michael is giving the meaning or the reason to live. Today he's so excited about securing another opportunity to work and fend for himself. Yes, he has been taught how to fish and not just being given fish. And to everyone who will want to, of course, contribute to this, there is an opportunity, of course, for you to partner with us. And especially, we needed to get a room for him, Mr. Lucky. Savior needed a room. He's still sleeping outside an open space, which is so vulnerable. Exposed to some level of vulnerability. We hope that you will come to his rescue. If you're interested, please kindly call me so that we get this done again. And we'll be so excited, and Lucky will be happy. He had been out of the streets, under the run, under the sun. Even after a very tedious work day, he will always retire to an open space. If you are taught to assist him, get a room, and of course we will rightly appreciate that. That is why we are giving this opportunity to everyone. Of course, a lover of humanity, we have them in their thousands. This is another opportunity to touch lives, and that could be possible with Corewave TV. And I will appreciate you in anticipation. Mrs. Joy, thank you so much for your immense contribution. May the good Lord, who knows how to reward you best, of course, do that for us and on behalf of Corewave TV. We say thank you so much. And to everyone who have been supporting us, Mommy Nchedo, thank you so much. To your sister, thank you so much. And the host of others, we appreciate your good work. This is a season where we can touch life. It is a reality. Maybe one of these days, when Lucky is opportune, maybe during his free days, he might come here to appreciate, of course, what you have done for him. He's so excited, more than I could explain. And on this note, we come back today. The government of Nigeria is borrowing and about to lavish 3.2 trillion on palliatives, rather than seeing how to empower vulnerable Nigerians who has no livelihood, who has no place, of course, of abode to rest their head. Rather than creating these opportunities, give them the money to build a life and contribute to the economy and their own welfare. Giving them money is that the way forward. Well, once again, good morning. Thank you, Corewave TV. Good morning, Mrs. Joy. God will continue to bless you. Long life and much more prosperous wedding anniversary. God will continue to lift you up wherever you are. Amen. Everybody. Amen. I'm Mr. Charles. Mr. Chigozie, yes. The kind of government we are running, the kind of government we are in, the kind of government we are seeing in Nigeria is somehow selfish and barbaric that we cannot even know whether they actually have the interest of the masses at heart. We are living in a country whereby you lavishing money, you call it palliative. What happened to the previous palliative that was distributed to almost all the states in Nigeria? 5 billion naira, you said that you're going to give almost all the states 5 billion naira for them to share within every state. And the palliative that was given, where are the palliative? The solution came right in here that when you go to most of these places where they are sharing most of this palliative, you have to pay in money
it's just like you are buying a goods on a subsidized rate, and you are here again. You want to go out and borrow, as in you want to go in again, getting thing stuff to Nigerians. Well, I'm not blaming them. There's something I understood with this every government that comes into power. Every government that comes into power in Nigeria has different dimension or different means or opportunity, different things they normally bring on board. That is what they are doing. Now, the government of so-called Ahmed Bola Tinubu has come in with a blunder lies of with what I may call they are giving up palliative to Nigerians. And what are the palliative? You are busy sharing SUV cars to most of these senators, giving them a very rich amount of money, and you are just spending unnecessarily. Why not curtail the cost of governance in Nigeria so that even the average Nigerian, the jobless ones, people that doesn't have work in Nigeria, could be able to get to work? You know, if you have like 1 trillion naira, how much does it take to build a company in Nigeria? You can use part of the money to build a company. If you have 100 jobless youth in Nigeria, by so building, by the means of building that company, you can bring out about 20 to 15 jobless youth out of the streets. But you are there lavishing money within yourself. A senator becoming a governor becoming a president becoming a senator. That is what the kind of country we are in. It is only God that will help us. So we are not in support of palliative. We don't need a palliative anymore. Create job opportunity. We have almost a lot of the people you see at the post office here are mostly graduates from different academic fields, from different universities, from academic ways of life. But there's no job out there. It is not that somebody said that Nigerian youth are lazy. Nigerian youth are not lazy. They are the most hardworking youth I've ever seen in this life or in this world. But what we are seeing is just a very wicked and selfish and selfless people that call themselves politicians, what are they called business politicians, that doesn't know what importance they have to place on the life of their citizens. So we are disappointed. Nobody should go in and tell us about more palliative again. The ones that have been given, what have we seen? We have seen nothing. So we are disappointed, and I said it here on the other channel that palliative that was given that very day that it was issued, I said nobody will hear about that palliative again. And this is exactly what is going on now.
One is gone. Nobody cares.
We are disappointed. We are actually disappointed with them. So they should go out there, create job opportunity, and the insecurity is so affecting almost all the country. You are busy doing nothing about it. All you are after, you sit down on the asshole, you fly yourself in an expensive private jet and other things. We are not happy with this government. Curtail the cost of your governance so that everybody will be very, very much happy. There's hunger in the land, starvation all over. People are not happy. A means of lying to Nigerians, that these are the means in which you think that you can lie to yourself that you are lying to Nigerians. We are disappointed. Do things that posterity will live to remember you for good. Not doing things in such a way that at the end of the day, you find yourself at the mercy of, had I know I would have done this the right way when I was still in power.
Honestly, it's quite disturbing. The rate of criminality, of course, building up is a time bomb, just buying time to happen. And the government and those charged with such responsibilities should not be living in the self-denial, because we're almost caught up with the realities, which is becoming vividly, undeniably true. And there have been agitation, of course, from the eastern region that Tinubu released Sunday Igboho, and as such should do the justice, should be fair to also release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has been incarcerated even after the pronouncement by an appeal court that discharged and acquitted him of all the charges, of course, against him. So what do you have to say?
Well, Mr. Chigos, thank you for that submission. Thank you for that question. We are living in a country whereby there's always sectionalism, nepotism, and the favoritism within the boundary of some section of our tribe in Nigeria. You have done well. Last week, Sunday Igboho was rightly released by the authority in one of the countries here in Africa. And then now, you also have a man in captive being in the person of Nnamdi Kanu. Now, the Yoruba group went in, associated themselves. Tinubu was there. The only point that they have to tell us is that Tinubu, these are Yoruba people, and believe me, they actually knows what they are doing. You cannot tell me that Tinubu's hands was not there in the release of that young man. He actually worked towards the release of that young man. Are we running a political system? We call ourselves one Nigeria, but we have also a man who is still under the net of the DSS custody here in the federal government there, Abuja there, in the person of Nnamdi Kanu. The federal government have done nothing about it. The same man that the court discharged him and acquitted him, the court still decided to them not to, they decided to sit upon justice and the appeal and whatever the court have given to that young man. Why? Because there's no law in Nigeria. A man that one court have decided to discharge and acquitted him. What is the meaning of discharge and acquitted? It means that this man has no case to answer. But you decided to keep him in that custody. And a man who is in another man's country, you went and released that young man, and you left him, and you left a man. What are things they are fighting for? These people are fighting almost the same cause. This one is fighting for Yoruba, this one is fighting for Igbo. So why are you showing us, as if this is not one Nigeria? Showing us as if this person is not important to you, this person is not relevant to you, and you went ahead, you pretended as if your hands was not there, as if it was only a few Obasanjo and co that joined hands together to release that young man. But remember, the president himself hands was there. Because there's no how a country can release a particular citizen from another country without the submission of that particular president. So Tinubu hands was there. So why not do the needful? Do what is right. This man that is still in the custody, being Nnamdi Kanu, these are almost the same just cause they are fighting. This man is for Igbo, this man is for Yoruba, and you decided to show yourself as if there's a sectionalism, nepotism, and another thing, and you decided not to release an innocent man that is still in your net. And what I always tell them here that they should always remember, whatever you do today, posterity will need to remember either for good or for bad. A man who has not, you call this man, is an architecture. Okay, the same country we are in, they will catch a Boko Haram member, and they will tell the Boko Haram member that they want to go in and negotiate with him. A man that is somebody with the responsibility of killing people, killing individuals in Nigeria.
They give him repented Boko Haram. They will give him pardon. You give him a pardon. But what happened to a man who has never for wars? And then we have a man, you have decided to team up, and you decided yourself as if you are not even among those people that empowered the release of that young man.
So what message is that actually sending to an average Easterner?
My brother,
that is confirming that we are not one.
That is.
And the level of disparity and injustice has been widened, and that deepens, of course, the sentiment, which fuels more agitation for the cessation, for the restoration of the Biafran state. And we not at this time blame those who are saying that Nigeria will not work and have never worked for anyone, and possibly will not work for anyone, except those who tend to live in denial.
Well, my brother, that is why I will always support our brothers watching us here live from different parts of the country, all over the world, diaspora. Anywhere you are, sit down there very well. Nigeria, Nigeria no good. A lot of things is happening here in Nigeria. With this, it is very, very uncalled for. A Yoruba man becoming a president of Nigeria, we are not disputing the fact. Okay, I'm coming back to your question, Mr. Chigozie. A man I am not disputing the fact whether he schooled or he did not school. No wahala. He has decided to tell the whole world that he schooled in one of the Chicago University. Yes, we are not disputing the fact that Mr. President did not school. But as long as you have the mind, the infantry, the motive, the goals to tell the whole world that you graduated from Chicago University, you should also as well have the mind to come out here boldly to show us your result and tell us the result you presented to INEC is not fake. What kind of government are we running in? A man who is still on your net, being Nnamdi Kanu, and a man who is on the board. I was arguing with somebody here. Somebody said there's always difference between a man that is in your net here in your country and a man that is in another man's country. I said it's almost the same thing. Forget the fact that Tinubu was among the people that masterminded the release of that young man. but he will only have to use, indirectly, as if his hands were not there to release that young man. Are you getting me? So we are in a country where this country, they are showing us as if there's no one Nigeria anymore. But that is not what we're supposed to be seeing, because Nigeria, you said, this is one Nigeria. But do you think, Mr. Chigozie, do you think we are expressing one Nigeria? No. The answer to that is no. Why not release that young man? You are indirectly telling the whole world that a group of individuals are nothing but above the law in Nigeria. A man who they call, what is the meaning of discharge and acquittal? It means go and, most of these politicians, you look at them as if they don't even know what they are doing. Are you getting me? They are not even after whatever you do, but what they are after is their own personal submission. How would they be able to enrich their personal family? But it's not fair. A man, why not discharge this young man? You have a lot of Boko Haram people that you are killing all over, that are killing people almost all over the world, all over Nigeria, and still you bring them into power. You say you want to negotiate with Boko Haram member. It's not supposed to be like that. A man who has nothing, who has not done you anything, who has not done anything wrong to you, is only fighting for telling you that most of the Igbo people in Nigeria, most of them are not justly, they are not being treated properly. And then you decided to bring in that man and you put him in a cell. A man, the same man you brought in a cell, being Sundibo, you have decided to release that young man, and then you decided to keep this one captive. What are you telling the whole Nigeria? You are indirectly telling us that we are not one Nigeria. Simple.
Thank you so much for your wonderful submissions.
Mr. O.J. Okpade. Good morning, sir.
Very much.
And Mr. Dennis, I greet everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honestly, in each society where there is perceived injustice, where there is imbalance in the system, of course, are bound to break up. It's quite unfortunate where we are trapped in this mess, but we cannot continue to be living in denial. We have Mr. Nii. Mr. Nii, good morning.
Morning.
How are you doing?
Well, we're trying to be good.
Okay, we are doing great here. As you can see, of course, keeping it real has been a commitment. 3.2 trillion to be lavished on palliative.
He said lavish.
Lavished because
when
you borrow to eat, then you will go hungry the next day. And how do you intend to pay the money you have eaten?
In dollars.
And pass through
What's the value?
physics.
What's the value in dollars? First of all, we have a dollarized economy. So what's the value in dollars?
It doesn't matter the value.
You should have the value in dollars.
What we are saying, 3.2 trillion. That was the time that Nigerian total annual budget is not up to 3.2 trillion. So you know that what that means. Most African countries don't have annual budget of 3.2 trillion. But they are fairly doing well for themselves. And now your government wants to borrow to share. And the one they have shared before, have you gotten yours?
Well, I would have preferred you had the value in dollars, but since you don't, so be it. Good morning, viewers. You see, the NLC and the TUC pushed the federal government to commit to ensure that since subsidy has been removed, there has to be a measure to counter the effect of that subsidy removal.
Are you planning the NLC at this time?
Hold on. Hold on. I'm building a story.
Okay.
Right? Afterwards, the common people said that palliative measures must be put in place for the vulnerables. Right? Before now, we understand that the past administration, they went through a process of CCT, conditional cash transfer. There's a program, a social investment intervention program called Empower, another one called Trader Money. So all these intervention programs were being done by the last administration, and they printed money using the ways and means, and that led us to what we have. Now, today, we have removed the subsidy on petroleum. However, we cannot let our people suffer starve to death. And this is what made the finance minister approach the IMF. The loan they are collecting is an interest-free loan. Perhaps you don't know. That's one. Then secondly,
how possible to collect interest-free loan from IMS? You know,
you did not. Have you read? I don't want to come here and argue with you because you have not even read what the deal. You've not read the terms. Yeah, I mean, what's his name? The finance minister. I can't recall his name now. Palliatives. You know, he was able to secure an interest-free loan from IMF. Now that loan, which is about 1.something billion dollars, part of it will be used for the palliatives. In addition to what we have on ground, which is the 800 million Buhari got an approval for. Part of it also will be used to what? To set up this CNG, CNG conversion workshops, which is also a palliative measure. Part of it will be used to fund, small and medium scale enterprises, which are these market women. They say they are going to give 50,000 and the likes. By tomorrow, I think tomorrow is 17th of October, right? The humanitarian affairs will begin to disburse its funds. Those people who have been verified, who are on the national register, will begin to get their 25,000 naira. They will get it for 3 months. Okay? Each household on that register, which have been verified, will begin to get 25,000 naira by the end of this month. All right, so and they wait for 3 months. And the funds,
25,000 naira could only buy 18 loaves of bread. 18 to 17 loaves of bread.
You don't know. A bread costs 850 naira.
1,200.
No,
if when you are talking of household,
but I don't want to listen. Household, no. You are
850 naira.
No.
Be enough for you.
You are derailing me with an immaterial.
No, not immaterial. When you are saying you are giving a household 25.
Listen, I don't belong to vulnerable. Neither do you, because if you do, you won't be able to host this.
How do you mean that you don't belong to vulnerability?
I don't belong to the vulnerable.
Are you not being affected by what is happening?
Do you understand the simple word vulnerable? These are people that cannot fend for themselves.
That is not true. Vulnerability is a function of
no.
what is prevalent in the system.
My brother,
everybody is
you will not own the narrative to suit your bias. Vulnerable people are those persons that cannot even afford, a bottle water of 100 naira. All they do is to beg to feed.
But you and I, up to this time, they are gainfully employed, but because of losing their job, because due to economic missiles and of course, the massive retrenchment that is going on, it makes them vulnerable.
That's a very silly excuse for me.
That is okay. Now, let me tell you. You told me that you were not able to come out with your car because you could not get fuel.
Let me tell you what's happening.
I understand the vulnerability.
I understand you want to be controversial, but I'm not ready for that.
No, but that is.
Let me tell you what is happening. The destitute, the vulnerables are people who are what? Homeless. These are people who are, because they are homeless, of course, they are jobless, they are destitute. All they do is roam around.
Why should the Nigerian government be celebrating poverty, the state of despondency of our supposed citizens?
Poverty is not a crime,
which they forced on the citizens. Nobody will want to be begging.
Hello, Christian.
If it has a good livelihood.
Poverty is never a crime. As a matter of fact, there should be dignity in poverty. What the government should do at every point in time is to cater for the poor masses. They shouldn't mock them. All you are doing here is you are mocking the poor, because in any economy you will definitely have the rich, and then you certainly, no matter how perfect that government is, you have the poor. That is how
God will have the poor in society.
That is how the God will serve.
Not up to 90% of the population. No, we have 133 Nigerians have been certified to be more multi-dimensionally poor. So how do you celebrate such? What is the government doing to pull people out of poverty?
Listen,
This is a private responsibility of government.
listen, it doesn't happen overnight.
And so what? We are 63 today. Nigeria is 63. So when will it happen?
Yes, that's the truth. We are 63. But taking people out of poverty doesn't happen overnight. It takes
should be an intentional move.
and one of those moves are what? One of those moves are the palliative measures that they are going to roll out.
What is palliative measure? Who did that help?
The palliatives they are going to roll out, you will not get it because you don't belong to that category. You are not a poor man. As far as I'm concerned, you can afford a food of 1,000 naira on a sitting. A poor man cannot buy a food of 100 naira. And those are the people who unless you call yourself a poor man, this is why you are trying to
force poverty on the
are you a poor man
of this country?
Because I need to know why you are agitating so much for this 25,000. Do you belong to that sector, to that category, that classification of poor people? Do you belong to that?
Everybody is poor.
Listen. Even
everybody is poverty because the inflation is biting hard.
Stop being hypocritical.
Stop being hypocritical. Even a bag of rice. Even earning 100,000 can confidently a bag of rice. Even in riches now it's almost impossible.
Even in riches,
so isn't that poverty?
There are classifications.
No,
even in riches there are levels.
Of course, yes, I agree with you.
As you are,
anybody that cannot feed well, how many of Nigerians can feed
as you are
adequately?
As you are
not a sign of poverty.
As you are not suffering from lack of food. Let the government.
I'm suffering from what? Lack of money.
I think you're suffering from lack of being able to jackpot. I think that's the intention. What I know,
you can't imagine. You're pushing me to jackpot.
No, that's your intention. Positioning me. That's your intention because what I've heard, what I've seen from the action is come here every time to want to denigrate the image of Nigeria. However,
it is not reality.
However,
are you not seeing the damage
for our timid viewers?
Are you not seeing the damage that they are more informed than what we are?
This is how I came last week. I told you that electricity has improved by at least by 60%. You debunked it. Look at it, there's light everywhere.
Yeah, that is right. No, yes, I agree.
Last week I bought fuel of 3,000 naira for my chain. I did not even finish it.
How many liters? How many
3,000 naira of fuel is simply 6 liters.
6 liters. And at what rate?
I've not 500 plus, and I've not been able to what? I've not been able to finish it. Simply means there is an improvement in our electricity sector.
So you're not celebrating 6 liters, 3,000 plus. In Nigeria, where you produce oil, where you have natural, when you
are unable to celebrate the little wins, you don't deserve the big victories. As simple as that. I am not satisfied with not having 24 power supply, but however, I will still appreciate a situation whereby we are enjoying nothing less than 15 to 16 hours of light. And you know what? This light has been made to be available during operational hours, during the day, when they know that businesses will be on operations. Now, and that's an improvement, all right? Because ordinarily, a 3,000 naira fuel is not sufficient for me to power my business for a day. However, in 1 week, I am spending 3,000 to power my fuel, and that is fair because the electricity has improved. What we want to do is to ensure that this, significant improvement is sustained and then it is improved upon. Now, going back to the palliatives, the vulnerables, they need to be funded. The country is what? Is in abject poverty. We have not been able to pay off our debt.
You said the country is in abject poverty.
Yes.
The country itself is in abject poverty.
Yes.
That is a very good
It's a simple, it's the fact. It's a simple fact. As a nation, we are poor as of today because whatever money, it's not as if we are not making money, but whatever money we are making, we are using at least 90% of it to service debt. That means
90% of it to service debt.
Yes. Now these are debt these are debt that have been accumulated over the years since 1999. All right. Now, how do we intend to correct this? And this is why I believe the Minister of Finance has said that they will ensure to deploy good fiscal policies, and this is why we have the Tax Reform Committee who have said that they are rejigging our taxation system whereby the rich will be taxed appropriately, and those who are poor will what? Will be removed from, will be given tax waivers. I think that's an improvement. Now, what we need is implementation, quick implementations, so that we can begin to feel the effects, and that is what we want. Are there poor people in Nigeria? Of course, yes. Have people gotten poorer because of the palliative? Of course, yes. As the government, because of the subsidy removal, of course, yes. Now, what is the government doing? The government has said that they will spend money to what? To serve the poorest of the poor, those who cannot, cannot buy, cannot purchase food for themselves. And they also said that they are going to give vocational trainings to people. They said they are going to what? Inject money into our agricultural system.
It's still in the realm of fantasy. We have not seen any conscious and deliberate move to realize that.
Like I said, I agree with you. Like I said, what we need now is implementation, and this is where you and I need to come together. The plans are good. If you are going to spend 3 trillion on palliative measures, that palliative measure is not for food alone. They said they are going to use part of it to buy CNG buses. They are going to use part of it to buy CNG kit for conversions.
Okay, they say now you are exonerating yourself from whatever blame that may come thereafter.
I am a Nigerian.
They say
I am a Nigerian.
There's some element of doubt.
Listen, well, my statement has not in any way induced you of any doubt. I have defended that administration by all means.
No, you said they said.
Yes, that's what they said. No, I am not part of the government. So me using they said is the right word to use. And I don't know where you got your
Nigerians should hold them responsible.
Certainly.
And not you.
If they fail, we will, as a collective people, hold that administration responsible, which I support. All right, and that is my stand.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nee. It's been an interactive and exciting moment here with you. I believe, as fans, you've heard from him his own opinion and frantic submissions this morning over the purported 3.2 trillion that is to be expended on palliatives. Now, he argued that Nigeria, that is relatively stable light up to 15 hours. If that is true, why shouldn't the government think a way of revamping the industries industries that are in comatose, that are moribund? Why is it that because of the cost of running business, factories and facilities, most multinationals are leaving the source of this country? There must be something fundamentally wrong that, of course, they suppose those in government are still living in the denial. When an established companies are leaving the shores of Nigeria, not because they run out of idea, not because they don't have the money, but because they see no reason to continue to, of course, run on lost if they could not be able to, of course, maintain the cost of production because of the government anti-policies and the high cost of running diesel. You see, these are one of the things that are frustrating any development or industrial revolution. So I hope the government should live up to her responsibilities and keep, of course, and stop deceiving her populace. The commitment of sincerity on your part to implement such. It is rather unfortunate, honestly, but whatever happens, let's hear your own point of view. Okay, he is speaking for the career criminals, politicians, according to Ola Adewale. Nigerians are in for what? Okay, for a coach awakening. Well, if by that you mean, is it just as most citizens of Israel, wherever they are running back to their own country, even in the outbreak of this war, event of war, just to defend their own country and their own, of course, nationality. They are not shying away from the pains and agony of those down home. And I hope Nigerians will learn from this, borrow a leaf from that. When you think that you are safe and secure wherever you might be, and you're not paying attention to what is happening or how you can encourage those down here, well, I leave that to your conscience. Usually, citizens are living wherever they are, volunteering themselves to fight in defense of their nationality, in defense of their posterity, and in defense of humanity. And of course, they are willing and they are very proud to lay down their life for their country because they value their country and their country have been there standing in for them, regardless of whatever circumstances. They've been able to keep, of course, in terms with the realities. Well, let's see, why is it that Nigerians in diaspora, most of them, of course, though they have been delayed, but more is expected in that regard. That to hold the Nigerian government accountable is a task that everyone must do. And of course, it must begin from those in diaspora. And you have a part to play, not just watch while everything sinks. Let's see what you can do and how to do that. Let me see your programs and how you intend to survey these situations. Are you making any plans in regards to that? Or are you saying bye-bye, Odabo, goodbye, of course, to the Nigerian states, because you have discovered a new safe haven? Well, that is left for everyone. But the narrative is that there is pains and agonies within the Nigerian political sphere, and everybody is, of course, agog with what is happening. Well, it is quite saddening and unfortunate. The government should have taken way and prefer a more lasting solution to the nagging issues of poverty, rather than eating tomorrow and dying the next day. It is quite unfortunate. Eating today and dying tomorrow is not the way to go. There must be a deliberate and concise move by the government, any responsible government, to take their citizens out of poverty. You cannot be celebrating, as the last bill submitted, that 90% of the annual generated revenue is being used in servicing debt. What does that mean? Is it not debt? That is cessation from economic correspondence. And any country that services her external debt with 90% of generated annual revenue is as dead as the door. And nobody can live in denial. No wonder such economy, such society will have predominantly majority of her citizens impoverished. Because you cannot tell me that you have 90% of your resources in servicing of debt, and you think such economy is viable. It is dead. And we at this time could even drink a tea or sip a tea on daily basis. It's not unfortunate, and we cannot continue to live in this denial and think that it could solve anything, or of course chart the way forward. Yes, as we continue to discuss this in a few minutes from now, let's have your own thoughts, or of course line of thought regarding these issues. Do you think the government should think any other possible way rather than resorting to rushing to borrow and to share? But the unfortunate thing is that most of this sharing, unfortunately, will not get to the targeted audience. It will end up somewhere and develop wing and fly, and everything will last, and the people will continue their journey, and nobody will ask questions. We have Mr. Lucky. Good morning. You are welcome to this wonderful edition of the political rumbles here. The government has been spending upon spending, and the last one was 5 billion that was given to every state. You are in Lagos. Do you get that of Edo State or Lagos State? Could you and reach your hand? And there is another 3.2 trillion that is to be spent on palliative. Which one are you getting? Or you are not telling us the truth when it gets to your hand?
See, this government of Tinubu is like they are still sleeping. They are not waking up. That's how Emefiele and Buhari dish money, billions of dollars. It did not affect anybody. The did not have notice whether the money was disbursed, whether they used the money to go and pay for their account. The same thing Tinubu is doing now. You as a media, have you seen where they are sharing palliative?
I've not seen, no, to be honest, I have not seen.
Automatically, if you don't see, automatically, I did not see.
It's in your own area.
I did not see anything. It's like we are still in shock. We are still in coma. I don't understand me. Nothing is being happening. We are being exploited. We don't know. You see, it's like we are a slave. You know, a slave. You don't know what is happening when you are a slave. You don't know what is happening. So Nigeria, as it is now, I don't know what is happening. It's like a Tinubu is still redundance. It's just in Nasrok. That's what I mean. We are not seeing anything happening. Is it the cement he said? One of the guys said it's going to be 3,500. Grab price cement is 5,000 plus. 5,000 plus. Is it petroleum? Everything has gone up. Zero rice, 50,000 plus. So it's like through APC government, they are fond of propaganda. So that is it. So whatever you are telling me today, I am not aware of it as a citizen of this country.
Okay, as a citizen of now, what is your place, the office of the citizen? What are you doing? If you are not aware, how do you hold the government responsible? Do you think that is the only way, of course, to get out of this wood? What are you doing as a citizen, of course, to hold the government responsible? They are selling 3.2 trillion again, and the former one you have not benefited. This one might become another complete story. So
if you have as ahead of Nigeria, you see none of them have said they have received anything. Rather, the politicians are sharing the money. You see, the only problem I just pity this country. Why is that? Why you cannot react? The country is being divided. Some of these Tinubu allies and the Yorubas are supporting him. I don't know whether they are getting something from him. I believe 85% of them are not getting anything. They always sympathizing for him because he's a Yoruba man. And Igbo man, this country, don't forget, this country has been divided. So you are your own. So if you protest, Yoruba man is not going to support you. Hausa man is not going to support you. So if Osama protests, Yoruba man is not going to support Osama. So the country has been divided. That's the loophole the politicians are using. If you get, you don't get. If you shout, you end up there. Nobody will ask you anything. So you are your own now. That is it. Let me use that language. You are your own. If you see, you take. If you don't see, that's your stomach. So that is my
that's your stomach. But what do you think the government should have tinkered out? Of course, what do you think the money should have been invested to create wealth for security?
In the creating wealth, you almost the same thing. If you ask Buhari 8 years, you say I create wealth. Ask one of the wealth, nothing. So the same thing this one is doing. And you know, the only thing is that maybe one day, Monkey will go back and he'll come back. The meaning of that is that one day, Nigeria youth will wake up and destroy all these politicians. Then we know where we are going. For now, I don't think you can see the way I'm talking slowly because shouting here and all these things, I don't think we are going headway. The government doesn't listen to us. All the agency, nobody's listening. If you get, that is your. If you don't get, that's your stomach. That's my own area.
Thank you very much for your very frantic submissions. Honestly, it's been a very shocking experience, and that is affecting the mental health of millions of Nigerians. Their psychological state is being battered, and with what is going on, is unfortunate, honestly, that no rehabilitation centers, people are almost losing out. Of course, sometimes you see people going on the streets talking to themselves and even may not recognize that there is a head-on car coming their way. But that is where we have found ourselves at this time. God has helped us, Nigeria, but help yourself. Now, please, from they say this Of course, thanking you for being here with us and those who come. And have a fantastic day. Wishing you all the best. Bye for now. Until the next edition.